So here are the simple facts of the matter. The FIA are considering launching an investigation against Lewis Hamilton for wearing a t-shirt at the Grand Prix at Mugello that said on it, "Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor." Before watching today's video, I recommend going and reading up on Breonna Taylor first. The reason that he is potentially going to be under investigation is that there is a possibility he broke FIA rules relating to displaying political messages. Now, there are a couple of angles to consider with this issue. First of all, you have to determine whether or not Black Lives Matter is a political issue. On the one hand, some may argue that no, it's not, because it isn't concerned with a specific political party, and it is simply a human issue, albeit a very big one. On the other hand, BLM and racism is a matter that often finds itself engaged with politics. So, for the sake of the video, let's say BLM is a political issue, in which case Lewis Hamilton would be in violation of the rules. After all, Santino Ferrucci was blocked from running Donald Trump's MAGA slogan on the side of his Formula 2 car in 2018. But the thing is, the FIA and Formula 1 have been doing this all year. Earlier in the season, Formula 1 introduced the We Race as One initiative and sanctioned protests against racism. Even some of the cars were sporting End Racism decals. But of course everybody wants to end racism. Most people do because it's a horrible thing. The good thing about this slogan is that it promotes a message positive enough to make Formula 1 look socially responsible, but ambiguous enough not to target anyone directly, therefore avoiding problems. But like every budding activist, Lewis Hamilton has obviously realized that in order for a movement to actually progress, sometimes you have to name and shame in order to make things actually happen, rather than just throwing empty slogans around. But the thing is, when you start doing that, things can get a little touchy, which is obviously what worries the FIA. But if the FIA rule against Hamilton, it arguably highlights the hypocrisy of the FIA as well as the #WeRaceAsOne initiative, displaying it as nothing more than a publicity stunt, which is what many critics thought it would be. I've seen some people argue that Lewis Hamilton's actions are unacceptable, and if Mercedes dropped them, he wouldn't be able to win another title. But the thing is, Mercedes are willing to back him, according to Toto Wolff, and unlike the FIA, Toto clearly has some integrity. I mean, of course he does. He's basically the Terminator. Jean Todt does not scare this man. The FIA supposedly maintain a non-political stance. Now, regardless of whether you think that's right or not, it's objectively false. From the moment they barred Ferrucci from running the MAGA logo, and from the moment they took on the #WeRaceAsOne initiative, they chose a side. But obviously, if they rule against Hamilton, they're clearly only willing to stick to that side until it no longer benefits them. Now, for those of you that say politics should stay out of sport, and I know there are many of you, you're right. Sport should not necessarily be a political matter. And for a sport to remain politically impartial is absolutely fine, until, of course, they don't remain politically impartial and then criticize others for not being politically impartial. My point is this. If the FIA rule against Hamilton, they are highlighting their hypocrisy. Whether or not you think Lewis Hamilton advocating in the setting of Formula 1 is correct or not, whether you believe Lewis Hamilton advocating it all is correct or not, and that he himself is a hypocrite, or whether you actually agree or disagree with the #WeRaceAsOne initiative, it would be a very hypocritical move to rule against him, as it's all well and good to throw around nice little slogans, but it's punishable to publicly target the very source of a problem that's considered touchy. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the issue. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.